Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be local nursery plant shopping at North Haven Gardens in Dallas, Texas. It is a cloudy Saturday morning when I was actually driving out to North Haven Gardens. As always, please make sure you press the thumbs up or like button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. I would love for our community to continue to grow. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome to the channel, and if you get a chance, please make sure you are following me on Instagram at GrowFolds. That is the fastest and most direct way to get in touch with me, and I hope we can connect that way as well. But you can see we are at North Haven Gardens. It is one of the iconic nurseries out in the Dallas area. It has existed for quite a while, and today there are a couple of things happening. We have the Rose Festival, we have Fitzgerald's Tropicals pop-up place right here, as well as the DFW Plant Collective. So we're gonna definitely see those in a future episode. I will feature Fitzgerald's Tropicals, which is a local grower of Monstera Albos, but as you can see right here, it is springtime, spring 2025, and I love featuring local plant nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In a previous episode, I featured a bunch of Japanese maples. Please check out Metro Maples Nursery. That is an episode I had, and hopefully you guys will actually engage in it, because you can see right here, even North Haven has some amazing Japanese maples. Absolutely love it. That is one of my biggest passions as well when it comes to growing plants, because there is a certain elegance, refinedness to the Japanese maple, also known as the Acer palmatum. But today I will be touching base on indoor tropical plants, so definitely stay tuned for that. But a couple of things I did want to touch base on before we enter the indoor tropical greenhouse at North Haven Gardens is just a couple of products that I wanted to feature, such as Classy Rabbit. And foldies, have you ever heard of this new soil called Classy Rabbit, which is from a local small business out in McKinney, Texas? Really excited to share with you this new soil, which is 100% organic. What I love about it is that this is a standalone type soil. You don't have to mix orchid bark or other amendatives that actually make this soil chunky. It is already chunky, light, and fast draining. You can use it to improve your existing soil. What I also like about it is they are made by farmers, so they don't really consult like soil scientists or whatever that means. They really know what Mother Nature has in the soil, and what I like about it is I've been able to pot up a lot of my plants from overseas, and they have really acclimated to this soil. I love the fact that, again, it is 100% organic, and the ingredients that we have would be rabbit manure, composed food waste, pine bark chips, mycorrhizae, dried molasses, pumice, and expanded shale, rice hulls, and yucca extract. So all of those ingredients really make this soil. It is balanced, and what I love about it is Classy Rabbit products are simple where it counts, smart where they matter. So that means all of the ingredients that the soil needs, it's right there. They don't need to add anything else, and they don't offer anything that they don't need. I also love the fact that Classy Rabbit is priced well, where it's a happy medium between the low prices of cheap, and when I say cheap, quality, and the high prices of unnecessary ingredients. It kind of balances it both. And if you see right here, I potted this Aglaonema up in a terracotta planter. You can see how fast draining it is as I put a bunch of water into the soil. You can see that it is literally just draining through, but just because it's fast draining, it doesn't mean that it doesn't retain moisture. It definitely does. But I love the fact that I don't have to worry about adding any perlite, because this particular soil doesn't have perlite. It has all natural ingredients. So for those that have never heard about Classy Rabbit, please go to classyrabbit.com. I highly endorse this soil. I love it so much. And even though I've been doing semi-hydroponic substrates like Lechuza Pond and Leca, I've actually been converting all of my plants back to soil because of this particular soil. They do offer free shipping at classyrabbit.com. Let me know in the comment section if you're interested, and hopefully you will support Classy Rabbit. I mean, have you pooped on your plants lately? I would. Hopefully you buy your bag at classyrabbit.com. It is my favorite soil. And before we go into the indoor tropical plant, I did also want to invite all of our plant foldies that haven't already tuned in to the plant podcast known as the Cultivation Corner. Hopefully you will search the YouTube channel Cultivation Corner, subscribe, and check us out. I am with Janae Simone Steven on this podcast.
Hey guys, I'm Janae from Janae Simone.
I'm Steve from I Love Plants.
And I am Richie from Grow Folds, and we are
Cultivation Corner. We are so excited. We have a plant podcast. We talk about any and everything, all things plants, and we premiere every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube at cultivation_corner. So be sure to tune in and watch us.
Follow us also on Instagram, and be sure to share our videos and our episodes with all of you plant lovers. We need more cultivators, right,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes, we do. So what are you going to do? You're going to share the video.
You have to.
You have to. Today. All right, guys.
Today.
We'll see you on the next one. So all of our future cultivators, please check out Cultivation Corner Plant Podcast. We are almost wrapped up on season 2, and season 3 will be filming very soon. But as you can see right here, Fitzgerald's Tropicals and DFW Plant Collective. It is a exciting Saturday morning out in Dallas. And as you can see right here, this is a beautiful looking place to go shopping for indoor tropical plants. Absolutely love the indoor tropical greenhouse at North Haven Gardens. Here's the thing about North Haven Gardens plant foldies. It is one of the oldest plant nurseries out in the DFW area, and I love featuring North Haven Gardens in a sense that you can get indoor tropical plants like this Aglaonema tigris, easy care for plant, easy care plant. So you definitely want to go invest in Aglaonemas, but they have so many different types of varieties of plants here. We've got large foliage plants, small starter plants, many different care levels of plants. You can see right here, that is a huge Ficus lyrata tree. Then we have another Aglaonema right over here. We've got a hanging basket of fern. And then we're also looking at this Dracaena marley right over here. Really love the stripes and the yellow coloration on it. We also have a Ficus shiveriana. And remember, Ficus shiveriana a couple years back used to be extremely rare, and now it is readily available at local nurseries. And then we also have a bird's nest, white bird of paradise. And if you are a Hoya head or somebody that loves Hoyas, North Haven Gardens has some rare and uncommon Hoyas as well for you to choose. You can see right over here, we have some more Hoyas. I will touch base on that just a little bit later. And then we have anthuriums. And yes, these are the blooming, flowering anthuriums that are often seen at a big box store. Needless to say, I find that the blooming anthuriums like this are highly underrated, often ignored, often overlooked, but it is still an anthurium. So when you think of anthuriums, that is really the first type of anthurium I would think of versus the more rare or sought after anthurium hybrids. Now, over here is the Fitzgerald's Tropicals. Please follow them on Instagram at Fitzgerald's Tropicals. They are a local plant grower for these Monstera Albos, Monstera Auras. They are actually one of the original sellers out in the DFW market that actually does a lot of plant pop-ups. And what I mean by plant pop-ups, it's basically, there isn't a brick or mortar shop. It's basically them putting up little vending areas, and they often vend at North Haven Gardens. They are actually known for their Monstera Albos because their stock of mother plants that they've had actually have very good genetics. But as you can see right here, they have some Monstera Auras. I really love the quality of plants that both Heather and Jason have for their plants at their plant pop-up. I was going to say plant podcast, but their plant pop-ups. And I hope that they continue to sell locally because, like I said again, it is all about supporting local businesses. The Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're not really familiar, is really inundated with a lot of options for plants. So if you are somebody that wants to vend plants, sell plants, it is highly competitive because there are many sources of where you can get plants. Even today, when I was filming the pop-up for Fitzgerald's Tropicals, in the classroom at North Haven Gardens, there were other vendors for the DFW Plant Collective, which will be on a separate video alongside with another pop-up that I filmed about 2 weeks ago. It's very important for me to really showcase the community of Dallas. The DFW plant community is a strong community. I would say that it is one of the biggest plant communities in the United States. When PlantCon 2024 actually arrived in Dallas, it had lines that were wrapped around the building. That is how many plant lovers exist in Dallas. And for me, being somebody that is based out in North Dallas, it makes me super proud to be part of a very strong, very populated plant community. And then number two, the amount of positivity the DFW plant community has. You can see that whenever people come to these plant pop-ups and plant swaps. And I hope to continue to actually feature these videos throughout the year when we have more plant pop-ups happening out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I would hope for anybody that is new to the channel, or for those that have not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you want to see more of that type of content, please subscribe. Press the subscribe button with all the notification bell on. But anyways, to get back to all of these beautiful monsteras, notice the variegation on the Monstera Albos. I would say these are the Monstera Fitzgerald Albos because you can see they've got half moons, but the variegation is highly stable on their cultivars, or I wouldn't even say they're cultivars, but basically these are the same Monstera plants that come from the same mother plant. This one is priced at $150. And yes, I would even say that the Monstera Albo, despite the fact that, say, the Monstera Thai constellation has been tissue cultured, it is more readily available at big box stores, Monstera Albos have not really made it into a big box store. Therefore, I believe that the price is still holding its value. And you know, for me, if you ask my opinion, I would say Fitzgerald's Tropicals, if you want a stable Monstera Albo, one that has really good balanced variegation, they're very selective in how they sell their plants. The lower variegated plants are oftentimes valued much less than, say, the marbling. Like this one right here is such a beautiful Monstera Albo. This one is only for $65. That is a really good starter plant. And as far as Monstera Albos, if you don't have one of these plants, I always say that it is a classic wish list plant. I remember wanting a Monstera Albo about 6 years ago, and I remember the plant pricing was a lot more expensive than they are today. I do believe the Monstera Albo will still hold on to its price. For instance, this one is $120, but you can see that it's still got pretty good variegation across. I happened to really score a deal when I bought my Monstera Albo from Fitzgerald Tropical. So you can see that they have some of the Monstera Albos that they are known for. And if you are looking for a Monstera Albo, Fitzgerald Tropicals actually does local porch pickups. So I would suggest following them on Instagram at Fitzgerald Tropicals. You can send them a direct message. They're really fast to respond in terms of direct messaging, and perhaps you can grab one of these beautiful Monstera Albos. They also have several other types of rare and uncommon plants that they have propagated in-house, which is what I really love, because none of their plants are actually tissue cultured plants. They actually have to take the time to chop and prop the traditional way versus actually having a tissue culture stock. Now, I don't have anything against tissue culture because, again, tissue culture is what makes plants more accessible to the general public. But as you can see right here, they do have all of these plants available. This one right here is a variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma mint for $100. And, you know, that is another wish list plant of mine. Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, also known as the mini monstera, is a fast growing plant, even the variegated version. And you can see right here, they are also known for the Variegated Monstera Adonsonii. Really love that as well. Unfortunately, mine went to plant heaven, and it's not because the plant wasn't a healthy plant. It's literally, and I know I have to say this out loud, I just happen to be a little bit more neglectful with it. I just wasn't on top of the watering. But if you're looking for a Variegated Monstera Adonsonii in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can get it from Fitzgerald's Tropicals. And you can see right here, we've got some Philodendron, Florida Beauty. These are the juvenile forms. This is only for $30, and they have just a little small amount today. Typically, they'll have like more tables full of their rare and uncommon plants. But I do believe that if you want to follow Fitzgerald's Tropicals on Instagram, send them a direct message. Tell them you found their Instagram from the Grow Folds and that you are a plant foldie and you might be interested in purchasing plants. They have very healthy looking plants. They are quick to respond to any questions that you have about the plant, and they have a great reputation in terms of repeat customers. These are people that have bought plants from them for several years, and it's always interesting to see when people post and tag Fitzgerald's Tropicals in terms of the growth updates of some of the plants. So I highly recommend it, and you know, I regret not buying this Philodendron variegated domesticatum. This one is only $30, and it is actually in a juvenile form, but somebody else ended up buying it, and I told them, yes, go ahead and buy it, because at that point I was still filming the rest of the North Haven's indoor greenhouse. But you know, I already know that I can reach out to Heather and Jason in terms of a plant like this, so it wasn't anything that I have to be too concerned about, because they are always growing plants. I believe they have over 1,000 plants that they are currently growing. So as far as the stock and the supply, Fitzgerald's Tropicals definitely has that. And I am just really thankful for anybody, especially for a vendor like Fitzgerald's Tropicals, to take the time to grow these plants out, but also to travel with these plants and then set up a booth. The same thing can be said about Peta's Planters. Now, Peta's Planters is an actual brick and mortar shop out in Dallas, Texas. You know, I will constantly talk about Peta's Planters because that is one of my favorite plant shops in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But even Peta's Planters, they do pop-ups, and just the amount of effort to haul these plants into a vehicle, drive to wherever the spot is, set up a booth and sell plants. I mean, kudos to anybody that vends. Here is some exciting news though, plant foldies. I will eventually go and be a vendor as well. I have a couple of plants that I am growing out. It is going to be called the Foldy Mix, and you already know. Can you guess what plants I would be selling if I were to be a plant vendor? Please leave that in the comments section below. I definitely am curious to see what plants you think I would actually bring to a pop-up if I were to vend, and that's something I have goals on doing. I may end up doing it as Cultivation Corner with Janae, Simone, and Steven, or I may do that as Grow Folds. I will also probably sell some of my origami, but anyways, as you can see right here, you can see that Fitzgerald's Tropicals, they had some rare plants. The majority of the plants were either Monstera Albos or Monstera Aura. So if you're looking for your dream plant, your wish list Monstera Albo or Aura, definitely send a direct message to Fitzgerald's Tropicals. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're able to ship nationwide, but in terms of DFW, you can do local porch pickups. So let them know Richie sent you there. If you end up buying from them, I would highly recommend them, and wish Fitzgerald's Tropicals always the best, because they have been providing the DFW market with some amazing rare and uncommon plants. now we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the other plants that they have available for the indoor tropical greenhouse at North Haven Gardens. You can see that they've got so many different versions of Alocasia, as well as these Rex begonias. And I'm going to just flash the Rex begonia actual name. You can see this one right here is an interesting one. It's got some dark foliage. These ones are all for $24.99 in 4-inch planters. So if you are a begonia fan, this is a place where you can actually buy several types of different begonias. Now, I actually am a begonia fan, and the reason why is because my grandmother, who, you know, has really gotten me into plants at an early age, she can grow begonias so easily. Now, as far as the Rex begonia, that is actually more of a challenging plant. I do like this escargot begonia right here. Love that gray, and I just love the swirls around it. The minute details of begonias is quite interesting. As far as begonias, especially the Rex begonias, I believe they're a little bit more challenging in a sense that, number one, if you're going to grow them, you want to make sure you stay on top of the watering. So they don't like to stay dry for too long. Now, as far as the watering, you don't really want to water or get the foliage wet. They're similar to African violets, where if you get these the leaves wet for too long in the stems, they end up rotting. The best way to take care of a Rex begonia is to actually bottom water it, meaning you're going to fill up a saucer full of water and stick the pot in there, and it just sucks up the water up the drainage holes. That's what I would recommend. Now, as far as the angel wing begonia varieties, or these cane begonias, these are the types of begonias that are a lot easier for me to at least take care of. They do want to grow up a support or a totem pole or a moss pole. There are many different varieties. The ones that you'll find at a big box store are typically the Begonia maculata, which Costa Farms Plants has actually popularized and made into a Costa Farms trending tropicals, but there are many other angel wing type begonias. What's interesting about begonias is there is a whole culture or society of people who really love begonias because of the potential to hybridize them, breed them, get many different varieties. And I think that that's really with a lot of plants. You know, you get a group of people that are very passionate about plants. You know, there's a lot of people who are definitely into, say, anthuriums. That is probably the #1 trending plant at this very moment, based on what I saw at these major plant shows like PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida, where everybody was after that. Now, as far as begonias, I do hope begonias end up taking the spotlight someday, because it's one of those plants that you really have to find somebody who collects them. And it's the same thing as far as Aglaonemas. And we're going to take a look at it. Aglaonemas are also known as the Chinese evergreen. You can pause this video and you can see the care tips for the Chinese evergreen. Like I said in all my videos, and like I will say in all my future videos, I will talk about Aglaonema until everybody gets excited about seeing these colorful, easy to care for plants that are, again, super underrated, often overlooked, and not really collected or sought after. And it's really mind-boggling for me. I mean, you can see right here, $24.99, we've got an Aglaonema super white. And you got to think, this Aglaonema super white, even if you don't give it nearly as much light, will still hold on to a lot of the white you know, actual foliage on it. I do find this plant beautiful. I do find it very colorful, and it's another plant that I think, if we continue to just have more varieties readily available, and if we continue to talk about it, maybe people will get excited about Aglaonemas, because I think oftentimes Aglaonemas are either seen as that green Aglaonema silver bay that's seen at like a doctor's office, a business, a corporate setting, versus a plant that might be utilized for collecting. You can see right here, these are the more colorful varieties. Now the white ones I know are the Aglaonema super whites. Really love this plant. The drawback with Aglaonemas, though, is they are very slow growing plants. I would also say, and even though they are considered easy to care for plants, the more colorful varieties, especially the ones that you would have to get from overseas, such as Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines, those types of Aglaonemas tend to be susceptible to mold. So if you notice, some Aglaonemas will have some mushy leaves. That's a type of fungal infection or bacterial infection. I have noticed that some of my Aglaonema I've actually put in leca semi-hydroponic substrates end up suffering that. And so I have learned through trial and error that Aglaonema actually do better long-term in a soil substrate. So as far as my future Aglaonemas, I'm not really converting a lot of them into semi-hydroponic substrates. I am going to go back to traditional soil. And the only reason why I say I would go back to traditional soil for Aglaonema is number one, and this makes them attractive in my care, is they are drought tolerant. So if you don't water an Aglaonema for maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, they are still going to be very forgiving. And so for me, I'm having to put an Aglaonema in semi-hydroponic substrate like leca or lechuza pond. Sometimes it can be risky because then the roots may not always convert into water type roots, and it can actually give you root rot. You'll know that your Aglaonema is not doing well when the lower leaves start to get mushy and start to turn brown. That's the reason why, and I'll say this from the get-go, you want to just go ahead and keep your Aglaonema in soil. Now, that doesn't mean that converting them in semi-hydroponics is a no. I think that it also makes the plant care even easier because you can kind of set it and forget it, but the conversion process is a little bit challenging. Not all the time will Aglaonema actually convert easily into semi-hydroponic substrate, and that's me being very transparent. You know, I always like to share my experiences with the plant foldies because I never want to try to steer you in the wrong direction. I found though that classy rabbit soil, that really nice all natural soil that's super fast draining and is locally sourced from McKinney, Texas. Try that. Now this Aglaonema Super Red, love it. Love the red foliage. It is in a 6-inch planter. I believe though it is about $39.99, so $40 for this. That is another beautiful plant. And if you want instant gratification, I would say if you find an Aglaonema that's in a larger size, like a 6-inch, maybe even an 8-inch planter or a 10-inch planter for these colorful ones, I would go ahead and purchase it. Now, I do have to ask, for those that have started to watch my channel a little bit more consistently, have you actually gotten into Aglaonema because of my conversations regarding Aglaonema? Please leave that in the comments section. And what do you think about Aglaonema? Why do you feel like it is another plant that even the vendors at PlantCon 2025 were baffled at the fact that not as many people are collecting it? I mean, take a look at this Aglaonema Milky Way. This one again is for $39.99. What a beautiful plant. Look at the veining, look at the speckling, look at that green, look at the white stems, and it's just such an easy to care for plant. And you know, as far as the Aglaonema plant care tips, what I would recommend plant foldies is number one, while they are low light tolerant, and the key word is tolerant, I would put them in bright indirect light, especially for an Aglaonema Sparkling Sarah or the more colorful varieties. Definitely want to put them in more bright indirect light. If you are going to keep them in a soil substrate, you want a substrate that is fast draining, that does not retain too much moisture, because moisture can lead to root rot. And the fact that unfortunately Aglaonemas are very susceptible to mold and fungus or bacterial infections, you want to make sure that you are spraying them with either neem oil, or if I have issues with like mold or fungal infections, what I'll do is actually spray it with a diluted spray bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is literally the penicillin when it comes to taking care of plants, whether it's plant pest or fungal or bacterial infections. It really does help keep the plant sterile. But you know, those are the things that I would recommend as far as Aglaonema. And as far as the watering, you want to make sure that the soil substrate is completely dry before you water your Aglaonema. Truth be told, Aglaonema actually respond better in a drier condition versus soggy moisture retention soil. So keep all of those things in mind, and I think you will do just fine with Aglaonema. Now, as far as Aglaonema propagation, you can take cuttings from Aglaonemas, but the best way to actually propagate Aglaonemas is to actually let the Aglaonema grow little baby pups. Aglaonemas tend to push out little baby pups as it matures, and to me that is the highest success rate in terms of propagating Aglaonema. You want to make sure you're separating them from the mother plant, and that's basically it. Now, as far as Aglaonema, again, if you love Aglaonema plant foldies, please post a picture, a video, a reel on your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, social media platforms. Tag me at GrowFolds and use the hashtag popularize Aglaonema, hashtag plant foldies, hashtag GrowFolds, and let's connect everybody that is into Aglaonemas. If you also want some suggestions on, finding Aglaonema or actually buying them from overseas, you can go to Green Spaces ID. You can send them a direct message on Instagram. Let them know that GrowFolds sent you there, and they may even be able to get you a discount, a 20% discount. So that's really my spiel of Aglaonema. I'm just going to walk around here and just keep showing you what they have. I am happy that, North Haven Gardens has a little bit more of a selection of Aglaonema. I have yet to see one nursery out in the DFW that will actually have a huge selection. Truthfully, I would say Peta's Planters Plant Shop, while it is a small plant shop, has the biggest selection of rare and uncommon Aglaonema. So definitely check out petasplanters.com. She can also ship beautiful Aglaonema. Now this one right here is an Aglaonema two-tone moonshine. Love the pink stems. I love the green foliage, the stripes on it. And I believe this one is also for $39.99. Definitely would be one that I was super tempted to purchase, but today, and I was actually super surprised that I did not purchase any plants at North Haven Gardens. I was really reserving it for the DFW Plant Collective Plant Swap. I wanted to really support some of the local vendors, but if I were to buy a plant at this indoor greenhouse, I would have bought the Aglaonema two-tone moonshine. It is a beautiful plant. This one is actually a little bit faster growing than the more colorful Aglaonemas. It's because of the green or the chlorophyll that this plant has. And, this plant was actually released by Costa Farms a little while back. I regret not purchasing it when it was actually readily available at Walmart. And that's the thing. If anybody has any sort of connections with Costa Farms, please message them. You can comment on their Instagram to ask them to release even more Aglaonema varieties. I think that if we continue to show Aglaonemas, if we continue to be excited about how easy the plant is, how refined the plant is, and how readily available it could potentially be, maybe more people would really celebrate Aglaonemas. I did want to shout out Eric, a plant foldie that has really been all about Aglaonemas. Thank you for tagging me on your posts on Instagram. Really love the fact that you continue to support your local businesses out in Minneapolis. Hopefully I will be able to buy some Aglaonema from that particular shop. And then you can see right here, North Havens has some variegated alocasia. I'm just going to walk around at this point and show you all the different types of plants that they have, ranging from begonias to different types of fern varieties. That is the beauty of being able to go to these local plant nurseries out in the Dallas area. You can see so many different types of plants. This one right here I wanted to highlight is a Swedish ivy called guacamole. So it's got that green on green foliage. Now, as far as Swedish ivy, some people will say that they are more of an outdoor plant. However, these are one of the plants that you can also successfully grow indoors. It is a fast growing plant. It is another plant that's super easy to propagate from cuttings. You can actually take a cutting and stick it into soil and it will root fairly easily. They remind me almost of the success rate of coleus plants, which this year I am going to go get more coleus plants. So a couple of things I want to do with my coleus plants is I'm going to document my journey on growing coleus plants from seed. I just bought my little seed greenhouse set up from Target, for instance. I went plant shopping for supplies at Target. And then you can see over here, North Haven Gardens has the dragon tree, also known as the Dracaena. And I actually bought a Dracaena from North Haven Gardens last year, and it is still doing very well for me. It's actually this specific Dracaena right here. Love the color. This one right here is the Malika Lime. You can see that it's got about 4 different types of colors. We've got white, we've got lime yellow, or lime green, yellow, and dark green. Really love the look of it. And then as far as the Dracaena, again, this is another plant that can get fairly large, but can also grow very compact. It is low light tolerant. It's definitely drought tolerant. In terms of like potential plant pests, I would say mealy bugs are really the only plant pests that I've seen really attack a Dracaena. Dracaenas do prefer better lighting conditions, though. You can put them in a lower light condition. They are drought tolerant as well. And you can see here, $9.99. I was actually tempted to buy this Dracaena Tornado. Look at how beautiful that is. I actually would buy all of the Dracaenas varieties that are in this selection right here. But as you can see, really nice foliage. Love that neon green color, that yellow color with the green. And that's the thing about Dracaenas. I don't really see a lot of people really getting excited about Dracaenas. It is another easy to care for plant, which brings me to the point. Do we just grow plants because there is a hype? Do we grow plants because we feel like if the plant has a monetary value, that's what dictates whether a plant is worthy to be in somebody's plant collection? For me, I want us to look at it from a different lens. And to me, it is all about finding plants that are going to bring us joy. And the best way to bring us joy is when a plant is not going to add stress to our lives. You know, oftentimes we find these plants that are definitely hyped up, definitely popular, but the amount of effort we have to put into growing the plant, where we have to have humidifiers, we have to have 12-hour set timers for grow lights, we have to create a chunky aeroid mix, we have to have specific water, we have to make sure the water sits out for more than 24 hours. There's a lot of plants that are trending that require that much care. And for me, yes, it could be satisfying to grow that, but what about looking at this Dracaena right here, where it's got beautiful foliage and all you have to do is just water it when the soil is completely dry. You can put it in a lower light condition and it will do well. I love looking at this set of Dracaenas. It's so beautiful, and I hope that you guys will be open-minded to actually buying a Dracaena Malika, you know, any type of Dracaena of that nature. When we see them at big box stores, they're actually in a much larger form, but even in the 4.5-inch planters that North Haven Gardens offers, I really like that. I mean, you can even see right here, we have another Dracaena. This is called Dracaena Lime Light. Love this as well. This is in a 6-inch planter, and you can see that that is the price right here, $29.99 for the Dracaena Lime Light. This is another plant that you can put in a lower light area and it will actually lighten up that space. And then we're going to be taking a look at these desert rose or these adeniums. Really love the look of this as well. There's many varieties. I'm hoping to go ahead and get me a variegated desert rose. Now, my grandmother ended up buying one at the Texas Airway Show last year. She has some amazing varieties of desert rose, but you can see right over here, they do have a couple of cultivars here. I am excited for all of the plant shows that I will be attending this year. I will be definitely going to the Houston Plant Con, the Dallas Plant Con, and I am in the works of going to the New York Plant Con. the New York City Plant Con, I may end up actually opening up a GoFundMe. Please don't roast me in the comments section, but I might need just a little fundraising to help with the expenses to travel and actually pay for the hotel, because number one, I'm not sponsored by Plant Con to travel, and then just number two, the amount of I guess money I've kind of poured into this YouTube channel in terms of just travel expenses, plant supplies, plant buying in general, it does get a little costly. So I may end up opening that. Hopefully some of the plant foldies might feel like they want to support me on that. You definitely don't have to. And that brings me to another point, and I'm going to put that out there as well. If you want to leave a monetary tip for any content creator on YouTube, we do have the option of a super sticker or a super thanks. If you look on the bottom right hand corner of your screen, you will see a $sign. You can press that button either during a live premiere chat, or if you're watching this in the you can see that in the comments section. You can leave any amount. That would be greatly appreciated. Like I said again, feel free to do that, and also feel free to not feel obligated to do it. I just tend to say things to make sure that everybody is aware of that. For those that have left super stickers and super thanks, I really appreciate it. You cannot imagine how much it helps with my gas and just my supplies to create this daily plant content, and I really appreciate that from the super plant foldies that have actually left it. But going back to the plants here, I'm just gonna go walk around and show you the different varieties of succulents and cactus. So not only does North Haven Gardens actually provide beautiful indoor tropical plants, they have a whole selection of cactus and succulents, and I stated this in my previous video, but this YouTube channel not only is a big box store plant shopping video channel, that's definitely the majority of my content, just because again, big box store plant shopping is more readily available for everybody. But this year I will be diversifying my plant content. Now, whether YouTube actually punishes me through the algorithm and doesn't push my other content, an example would be the Metro Maples Japanese maple tour video that I did. I mean, it definitely didn't get pushed out to nearly as many of my subscribers. But you know what? It's all about trying to get that exposure to people that may not necessarily have seen that type of plant or that type of passion for the plant. So I am going to definitely show you some more succulents and cactus. You can see right here, North Havens has a lot to choose from. Let me know in the comment section, plant foldies, if you've actually grown a extensive collection of succulents and cactus. I know my super plant foldie from Canada, Kathy. We love you, Kathy. Thank you for always being on the live premiere chats and for always asking everybody to press or hit the thumbs up or like button for this video. I really appreciate you, and hopefully for those that have been watching this video, you've already pressed the thumbs up or like button for this video. If you haven't, I would simply ask if you could do that for me. That would be amazing. But let's go ahead and keep walking over here, and I'll show you some more tropical plants. You are a Hoya head or somebody that loves Hoyas, North Haven Gardens is definitely a place where you want to go, because they do have many varieties of different types of Hoyas. What I love is that they have the 6-inch planters, the 3.5-inch planters, and the hanging baskets of Hoyas. This is one of my favorite ones right here. This is a Hoya Lisa. Love the look of this particular Hoya, and what makes that Hoya even more beautiful is when you actually sun stress it, or when you provide that plant more light than it necessarily needs. It actually gives it different colors. And this Hoya Crimson Queen right here, beautiful plant. And you can see this one right here is sun stressed, so you can see some of the pinks coming out of it. Really love the look at that. And that one is for $29.99. I'm just gonna walk around here and show you Hoyas. I do think that Hoyas are a little bit more forgiving in terms of somebody like myself who underwaters or somebody who doesn't water my plants nearly as much as I should be. You know, as far as the Hoyas, I have yet to get them to bloom. The day that my Hoyas bloom, though, is the day I might even just go show my face on YouTube. You already know I do faceless YouTube for now. I may eventually do that. It may happen on the Cultivation Corner plant podcast show. So that's why it's super important, if you haven't already, and if you are listening and watching my videos, to search Cultivation Corner and subscribe with all the notification bell on for Cultivation Corner. We do plant podcast shows every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard United States time. I would love for you guys to join us. And on Tuesdays, my live premiere videos will actually air after Cultivation Corner right at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. But anyways, you can see all of these gorgeous Hoyas. Look at how large those hanging baskets are. I call that instant gratification. Let's pick up some more of these different plants. Again, this is another Begonia Rex. This is called the escargot. Love that as well. And we're going to be looking at this Philodendron heteroecium silver stripe, which is another version of the Philodendron heteroecium Brazil. It has the cream or white stripe on it. Beautiful plant. It's another plant that's very easy. It's a classic plant. It's interesting that it is considered a little bit more uncommon than the Philodendron Brazil, even though this one is easy to propagate. And one of my favorite new varieties of pothos for $12.99. This is a neon queen pothos. So basically a variegated neon pothos. Love this as well. Now, to maintain that neon variegation, you must, and I say you must, provide it with bright indirect light. You know, the thing about pothos is a lot of their variegation and colors are really subjected to the amount of light it's receiving. So if you are going to grow a neon queen pothos, make sure it's either at a south facing window, a west facing window, somewhere where it really gets intense bright light, or you're going to grow it under a grow light if you really want to maintain that coloration. Same thing with the Philodendron heteroecium silver stripe. This is another plant that you can push out more of the cream tones if you provide it with more bright light. I do love the heart-shaped leaves of this plant. This is another plant that if you're looking to have an easy to care for plant, it's considered a beginner plant. Get all of the plants that I will be picking up, all of the different types of Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants. For instance, this this Enjoy Pothos for $12.99. So I will just keep picking up these pothos plants, the different varieties, and you know, each one I would recommend to be in your plant collection. I am all about trying to get that trend of easy to care for plants that are oftentimes overlooked and underrated. Let's make them plants that we seek whenever we go plant shopping. See plant foldies, the different varieties of hanging baskets of Hoyas. These are super cute in 5-inch hanging baskets. I like that actual size as well. I feel like it doesn't take too much space. And then take a look at this variegated Hoya compacta, or this Hindu rope. This one is for $84.99. And the thing about it is the variegated Hoya compacta, or even Hoya compacta in general, is such a slow growing Hoya. So if you want that instant gratification, if you want something that is super full and established, you can go ahead and buy this for $84.99. And that's sometimes the debate on whether you just want a plant that's already fully grown, or do you want to take a starter plant and watch the plant grow. For me, it really just depends. Like whenever it comes down to, say, Aglaonema, if I can find an Aglaonema that has a really nice size already, I may end up just spending a little bit more money for that instant gratification. It really just depends on the rate of growth a specific plant would be. Like this Hoya macrophylla, really love this plant. I regret that I also sent this one to Plant Heaven. This one is for $59.99. Needless to say, it's a beautiful plant. I love the new growth and how it's already sun stressed, so you can see that it's got some pink margins on it. Hoyas, again, for all of my Hoya lovers, for those that are experts on Hoyas, leave in the comment section the Hoyas you would recommend for any plant foldy to purchase, and the Hoya care tips. I would really love that. But let me pan away here and just show you the beauty of North Haven Gardens indoor tropical greenhouse. At these different types of Hoya Kerrii. So this one is a Hoya Kerrii inner variegation or reverse variegation for, I believe, $69.99. What a beautiful plant. I actually like the inverse variegation of this one. This one is a little bit more uncommon, a little bit more expensive than just the variegated Hoya Kerrii. Hoya Kerrii, I love the leaf shape because, again, it has a heart-shaped leaf. This is another plant that would do very well in a bright environment, bright light, and also higher humidity levels. You can see this one is the variegated Hoya Kerrii. So you saw the inverse version where the green was actually the border. Now this one has actually got the variegation as the outside border. It is also for $69.99. I actually got lucky to find a Hoya variegated Kerrii at Kroger grocery store for $13 in a 5-inch planter. So depending on where you go to go plant shopping, sometimes you will really score savings. You will actually get the best deal in terms of plant pricing whenever you're shopping. So it really pays to just look around and compare and contrast prices. But I would love to have that, both of those Hoyas hanging baskets. And then this is a Hoya Ripple. I love this as well because it looks very similar to a Hoya Chelsea. And this is a prime example of what a plant can do for you in terms of just being solid green. I think this is such a beautiful plant, just not even being variegated. There's a little bit of splotchiness to it, but in terms of just that deep green color, just like the Hoya Chelsea, I love the Hoya Ripple. It is a beautiful green plant, and that's another reason why I want to talk about plants that are just strictly green as well. I do believe that the more green plants like this version of the Hoya Kerrii, the green version, the original version, $29.99, so it's definitely half the price of the variegated Hoya Kerrii inverse, and then the variegated Hoya variegated version. This green one right here, even though it's green, it is still stunning. And I hope that as I continue to highlight green plants, that we would all be open to the simplicity, the elegance, and just the easy care of a green plant. But you can see this is the Hoya Kerrii family. I love the Hoya Kerrii variegated version, the inverse variegated version, and then the green version. Let me know in the comment section if you would buy all three Hoya Kerrii or which one you would prefer. I would really like to know. And I will say straight up, plant foldies, if I'm asking for those comments, hopefully you guys will engage with me, because like I said again, I love to read through all the comments, and I will respond to every single one of them. You can have a full-blown conversation with me in the comment section, and trust me, I will comment and respond. $21.99, guys. This is a Epipremnum aureum Manjula Pothos. One of my favorite pothos, I would say the neon pothos is my #1 favorite pothos, then the Manjula Pothos. I love the Manjula Pothos because look at this. There's so many different varieties. Like I was really tempted to buy this for $21.99. Look at how highly variegated this Manjula Pothos is. The Manjula Pothos, the variegation can really vary. They even have what they call the Granjula Pothos that Costa Farms released as a hanging basket at a big box store where it had that mostly reverted green color, but there was still that green on green variegation. What I like about the Manjula Pothos is you'll notice not only is the variegation unique, but the leaf shape. You can see that the leaf shape actually has a rounder, larger leaf. Now, what I would recommend for the Manjula Pothos, if you really want a stunner, if you want a more cost-effective, cheaper alternative than say a Monstera Albo, you can actually grow a Manjula Pothos on a pole, some type of stake or something where the aerial roots can attach. The leaves will get larger as it climbs up, and I'm telling you, the mature leaves of a Manjula Pothos is exciting. I am so thankful to Costa Farms for giving me one of their mother plants at PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida. I happened to get to be the winner of their plant giveaway. When I saw that hanging basket of Manjula Pothos, it was like love at first sight. And when they announced that I was the winner, I was just so thankful for it. You guys cannot understand how excited I was to receive the Manjula Pothos mother plant. You know, it's the plant that, you know, Costa Farms actually propagates from, takes cuttings from, and actually, sends these plants to big box stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Target. So that is actually a plant that I don't really want to chop from. But as far as Manjula Pothos, it is one of the more slow growing Manjula Pothos, or at least Pothos varieties. And then you can see right here, I'm just going to show you the different varieties of spider plants. Spider plants are actually not toxic. So you are going to be able to grow these if you have a furry friend like a dog or a cat. So that's one I would recommend. It's also one I would recommend if you want an easy to care for plant. The only thing I will say about the spider plant is you want to make sure that you're watering it with more distilled water. Depending on your tap water, whether it's hard tap water, the leaves, or at least the tips of the leaves, may end up crisping or browning. So purified water, rainwater is best for this particular plant. It is such an easy to care for plant, and you can propagate from it as well. Foldies, we've got some beautiful bromeliads here, and that's the thing about North Haven Gardens. Their indoor tropical greenhouse has many varieties of different types of bromeliads. That's another plant that I really want to buy and get into, just because I love this one. For instance, this one has some of the pink on it, and I love that it has white or like cream edges on the leaves. Really love the look of this. It looks like the pink was actually spray painted on the plant. What a beautiful plant as well. And as far as bromeliads, they're an actually easy to care for plant. It's just that a lot of people will also overlook it. For me, whenever I think about, what kind of plants I'm into, I've noticed that I really love the colorful plants, hence the reason why I love Aglaonema, I love coleus plants, and I even love Bromeliads, just the really beautiful colors it has. This one is a Cryptanthus. This one is another beautiful plant. Look at how beautiful the red is. For those that love red foliage plants, this is another must that you need to add into your plant collection, and North Haven Gardens has it. For the local plant foldies, the ones that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let me know in the comment section if you shop at North Haven Gardens, what plants you've recently bought. And for anybody else that is outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let me know what your spring 2025 plant additions have been. It looks like all of our big box stores, local plant nurseries such as North Haven Gardens has been getting a lot of new plant restocks. We're going to take a look at some of their Ficus elastica, or what you would call their rubber tree plants. Now, the basic care tips again for the rubber tree plants is bright light. You can even probably put them in full sun. You just have to acclimate them. And let me sneak this Epipremnum aureum Snow Queen Pothos in a 6-inch hanging basket as well. Now, this is the more highly variegated version of the Marble Queen Pothos. Snow Queen Pothos for $49.99. Really beautiful plant. Love the look of this, but in order to maintain that variegation, again, you must give it bright indirect light. Otherwise, it will start to revert back to more green tones. Like you can see, this one may not have received nearly as much light to push out that beautiful white variegation of the Snow Queen Pothos. So as far as pothos plants, let's add one to your plant collection in the next week and take a look at this clown fig ficus. I had one, but I ended up just underwatering it to the point where it went to plant heaven. But this is another interesting plant that I like. I like that white speckling variegation that it has. And we're just going to continue to look at more of these ficus plants at North Haven. Look at some of the philodendron that they have available at North Haven Gardens. You can see now this one right here is actually a really good price. $44.99. This is a Burley Marks Flame Monstera. Now, most retailers will sell this for $99, but you can see this one is for $49.99. Now, I will say Costa Farms recently released the Burley Marks Flame on their website, so some of that plant pricing is definitely down. And you can see right here, this one is a Sun Stress Philodendron Ring of Fire. Beautiful plant. This one is for $24.99. I have a couple of Philodendron Ring of Fires. I really like the serrated leaves on it. And this is the actual philodendron. If I were to buy one today for $39.99, I would buy the Philodendron Cherry Red. And the reason being is I love that dark foliage on this philodendron. I love the dark maroon stems and petioles of this philodendron. And this philodendron is another easy to care for philodendron. And, for me, it is all about easy care plants. As much as I love looking and wanting to collect plants that are just gorgeous, if it's not easy care, it's one that I'm going to have to pass on. And the reason being is there's only so much time in the day, right? There's only so much time in the day to take care of plants and actually enjoy them. Because if you spend a lot of your time actually having to water the plants, having to spray the plants down, having to repot the plants, having to do so many other plant chores, where do you have the time to practice mindfulness? Where do really have the time to sit back and just enjoy looking at the plant. And that's something I had to really realize as I've done my plant shopping videos, as I've created this plant content, is to really find time to just enjoy my plants, because there were times where I actually experienced plant burnout. I definitely am addicted to plants. I definitely have a plant addiction, and there have been people who have told me on even my YouTube comments where they're like, Richie, shut up about your plant addiction. No, it is something that needs to be talked about. It's something that I want to bring up, because while we make plant addictions light, it's actually a serious thing where you have to find ways to regulate it. And one way I've been able to do that is really finding the joy in plants and not having to feel like I have to consume every single plant I find. If that makes any sense, plant foldies, you already know while I do these plant shopping videos, and if you've made it this far into the video and you are a brand new viewer, just know that I utilize my plant shopping videos, my nursery tours, as almost like a personal blog as well, to talk to you directly about plant topics or things that are going on in my everyday life. But you can see here, this is just a beautiful nursery. I would recommend visiting the North Haven Gardens. It is one of the oldest nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, highly established nursery, and we're only looking at the indoor tropical plants. They also have a section for Japanese maples. They've got vegetables, they've got herbs, they've got perennials, they've got a tree section as well, and they even had a rose festival where they had many different varieties of roses. So for me, North Haven Gardens is one of those must places to go. It's another Dallas site that you must check out if you're ever in the DFW area, especially if you love plants. For those that are planning on going to the Dallas PlantCon in 2025, this should be a bucket list place to go check out as well, alongside others. I'm going to make a separate video for that. Plant foldies, if you enjoyed today's video, hopefully you will hit the thumbs up, like button for this video. Really appreciate that, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel at GrowFolds. Definitely click on the video on the left of the screen or the bottom left hand of the screen to see some more content. And as always, this is Richie at GrowFold. I will have another brand new video for you tomorrow. Bye.